9 o'clock right here on Channel 10.
The ripple impact of the government shutdown now has an East Tennessee nonprofit on edge.
10 News anchor Brandon Bates looks at how Second Harvest Food Bank is preparing for an influx of new families who stand to lose federal assistance.
As the partial government shutdown hits week 3, local nonprofits like Second Harvest Food Bank
this is a first.
Are getting anxious.
We haven't seen an impact yet, but just yesterday the news started pouring in.
Second Harvest provides over 1 million meals a month to those in need through 8 different feeding programs.
It's a human basic need.
And if the shutdown continues, the programs that rely on the government could see a huge hit in resources.
It's just a little bit of fear in that, what are we going to do? How are we going to distribute food to the needy that usually get these kinds of food products through different sources?
As their resources dwindle, people on the SNAP program could be coming to them, adding to the number of people they have to feed.
If we don't get a resolution soon, we're going to see a huge impact in the people that need food coming to Second Harvest.
Strano says they'll never be able to feed everyone in need, but if the shutdown continues, thousands of people in our state will need help finding food.
Some people haven't needed Second Harvest, and now they will. And do we have the provisions and do we have the funding to get them the food they need? We don't know yet. We have to figure that out.
Brandon Bates on the story. The executive director of Second Harvest says they're planning a big staff meeting tomorrow morning to map out how that agency and their partners will handle more families if the shutdown